to our top 5 Zelda Countdown. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild set to be coming out next year, hopefully. We wanted to give a rundown of the top 5 greatest Zelda games of all time. Now, this video is really nothing more than our opinion. This is not going to be based off of sales or statistics or anything like that. We know that the Breath of the Wild is going to be the biggest map of any Zelda game and have the most playable content of any Zelda game. But will this game ultimately live up to the hype of some of the games on this list? Number 5 is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, this game caught a lot of flack because, well, it came out right after Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask by a few years. The cel shaded graphics felt like a bit of a step backwards to some people. Um, so because of that, a lot of people didn't really like the cel shaded graphics, and it was very controversial. All in all, though, the game was a lot of fun to play. It had absolutely perfect music, which is one of the reasons why it's so high on our list. The gameplay was really good. The most annoying part to me was having to sail from place to place. At times, this was really cool, like at the very beginning of the game, but as the game goes on, it does get to be a little bit more annoying after a while. Princess Zelda being a pirate in this game was a really nice touch. One of the more often overlooked parts about this game is the fact that it gives a bit more of a connection to you and Link. Because you're attempting to rescue your sister in this game, it gives that dimension that look. It makes Link an even more enjoyable character. There are a ton of places to go in this huge map, a lot of unique places. Although, again, getting around to those places on the map was a bit tedious at times. It reintroduced Tingle back into the series after he made his return. And to go back to relationships for just a few moments, in this game at the very end when you start to battle Ganondorf, the dialogue that he gives is quite different than most dialogues from evil characters in the series. You can almost feel the pain, sorrow, hurt, maybe anger in his speech. It almost kind of gave the feeling, at least to me, that Ganondorf really didn't want to be evil in this game, but he really saw no other choice to get his people back into a position where they weren't hungry and hot and cold, freezing to death and burning up. Obviously, in certain games, Ocarina of Time, he is very clearly evil. Number four will go to the original Legend of Zelda game. What makes this game so good is the simplicity of it. Breath of the Wild hopes to go back to its roots with this series, and why not? Because it was a tremendous amount of fun. You could tackle the levels in practically any order that you wanted to, and sometimes you didn't really even have a choice. You might be on level 1 and then come across level 7, and you'd have to go and hunt down the other levels. So this is a game that started it all. It had a lot of iconic weapons in this game, such as the boomerang, bombs, bow and arrow. These made returns in other games. The puzzles and lack of direction in this game actually fed into making it so great. Number 3. Number 3 will go to The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It is truly sad that the future generations will probably never get the same enjoyment out of this game that we had. The graphics in today's standard, or by today's standard, are horrible. But the game was great, and we didn't even know any better because it's all we had. The game was the third in the series. It was drastically different than the first one, in not only that it had an actual storyline, but the general flow of direction. It was much more linear. It still had a big enough map at this time to give a sense of wonderment, and likewise, again, a lot of iconic weapons appeared in this game. It even introduced some new ones in the game, such as the hookshot and the fire rod. Number 2. Number 2 will go to Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time was one of the best-selling Zelda games in history. It started everything that we know about the series today. It had the better graphics. It had the more detailed storyline. It introduced us to this constant obsession to have a great background story, amazing background story for Link, and pardon my pun, but it linked us, or started creating the desire for us to link the games together. There were enough side missions in this game to make the game playable for a long time after it was beat. It also divided the timeline into at least three different timelines. Music became a very common core part of the Zelda series, starting with this game. Probably fed into some of the success of the series as a whole. I mean, you could even buy a soundtrack for this game. So the game is really did a good job of getting the player emotionally invested. You could feel the tension between Link and Zelda. You could feel that feeling between them. And overall, the gameplay was again it was really wonderful. Number one, number one by far goes to Majora's Mask in our opinion. This game was crazy, weird, fun, challenging, and it was very memorable. It kept all the core components that Ocarina of Time had to offer, such as side quests, music, detailed storyline, linear gameplay, but it mixed it with a zany, almost impossible situation. It threw in a little bit of humor with the Skull Kid. It even threw in a little bit of drama with your horse Epona getting kidnapped or horse snapped, maybe. Plus, the game had aliens. I mean, it was really insane. Almost like the developers were on an acid trip at the time. I mean, you could even travel to the moon. This is our top 5 Zelda games. Let us know what your favorites are. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Check out our numerous other articles on our website.